Ass homie, man up, this the mentality. Yeah, we getting balls deep. Conversation over here ain't for the week. This the mentality. 6 p.m. going live, got people tuned in worldwide. This the mentality. We the realest of the realest, and we know everybody gon' feel it. This the mentality show. You know how I go. Real man over here, bro. It's the mentality show. You know how I go. Can't catch an H over here, bro. No.
What up, folks? What's going on? It is 6 p.m. on Wednesday here in sunny Los Angeles, California. I know we've been gone for a few weeks here and there, popping in and out, and we apologize for that. Popping up at your house like deadbeat dads coming in every once in a while to look out for our children. But we are here, not live today here in Los Angeles, and we are happy to be here with our mentalities out there. Thank you for everyone who's been sticking with us throughout these troubled times and these times we've disappeared and come back and things like that. Hey, folks, I'm your host, Delano. It is so good to be here with you this afternoon, this sunny afternoon. And then I got my man Texie here.
Hey.
What's up, Texie?
What's
Sexy
up? You still sound like an announcer coming on.
Oh, well, hey, that's just part of my nature. Okay. That's just how I am. That's just how I talk, you know? So I got to let the folks know who we are and why we're here and things like that. And, hey, guess what? We have one of your favorites here. He's been on our show he's made probably 8 or 9 appearances throughout the years. He's been someone who's come on and said a lot of thought-provoking things. He's been very honest and outright with our listeners and things like that. So we are we'd love to welcome to the show Mr. Tom Katzis.
Thank you, Delano.
Good to have you here, Tom. Yep. So good to have you.
I have no ideas today, but glad to be here.
What?
It's late.
There we go. I was like, man, come on, show my man Tom some love. So we are today. We're kind of doing this thing a little different today. Usually, I'll get on the show. That's what Texie was talking about. I've kind of started the show out very announcery and welcome to the Mentality Show, and we're so happy to have you here, which we are very happy to have you here. But we're going to kind of be ourselves here. The person you're hearing right now, this is me. This is who I am. This is kind of how I talk, relaxed after 6 p.m. You know, I kind of lower it down a little bit. Whatever, however I feel. If I feel sexy, that's how I talk. If I don't feel sexy, I talk like this. So right now I'm not feeling too sexy, so this is what you're getting right now. So we're just going to talk about a lot of things. It's just kind of a free-for-all show. We are going to just bring up topics and whatever you guys want to talk about, whatever's on your mind, we're going to hit on those and expand on some of these things and just go from there. I know a lot of you probably wonder how we feel or what our thoughts on certain things that are going on in the world right now, politics, just all the troubling things that are going on in our country. We're not going to get too much into politics, or, hey, maybe we will. It just depends. We're going to talk about personal things. We're going to talk about just whatever comes to our mind and whatever we want to get off our chest, if we will. So I like to start it
from your chest.
Say it with your chest. You know, whatever. We're going to say it with our chests, our heads, and our balls, okay? So, all right. So let's do this. I like to start it out with just kind of throwing something out there. And, you know, right now the biggest thing in the news is, you know, what a lot of folks are talking about. It's on all the news feeds is and we're going to get a little political here. You know, right now, Donald Trump, okay, his house was raided in Mar-a-Lago, if I'm saying that correct, in Florida, because he's been suspected of taking classified documents from the White House to his house and keeping it for some reason in whatever location he has it, if he has it there. This is still alleged information, but for the FBI to decide, well, they didn't decide. A federal judge had to sign off on this and send FBI agents to his house. There must be something there for them to make this decision and go out to his property and
probably
see what's going on, right?
The items that should probably be with the National Archive that could be confidential, could be top secret government information, other than just maybe a few souvenirs that he walked out with. Yeah.
Well, they're afraid it could be some, you know, even if it's something as small as what Nixon did in '62. You know, it's just we don't want America doesn't want its secrets being out there because of some hard-headed president that didn't want to turn it in towards the end. There's a lot of stuff in Trump's mind too, stuff that he learned while he was in the White House, that's in his head that the FBI can't take away from him, that he can share with whoever, China, Russia, whatnot, and probably totally get away with it. That's the scary thing, We're talking nuclear codes, of course. That's one of the ones that people threw out. I don't know how that works with presidents. If there's a code, if they change the code every 4 years, I don't know. But whatever it is, it must be something that classified where they do not want other folks' hands on it, especially Trump. So
Well, his supporters and that hardcore group of supporters, Delano, they're not going to change their mind. So that 30% of that voting bloc will be there, even if you ran a incompetent Adolf Hitler, they would still vote for the Republican nominee.
Exactly.
But I think they're now proclaiming that this was a witch hunt, which because no information is
people
available yet. They're down there, only hundreds, not millions.
Right.
They're kind of protesting like that, and of course Fox is playing that same scenario that now you're after him because you couldn't. One stupid person being interviewed said, "Well, you couldn't impeach him a couple times, so now one more time you're going after him." They don't want to hear any facts at all.
Yeah, and this is an unprecedented move. No, this has never happened in the history of our country. That's the big
Never
thing
has a president ever been served a subpoena to give up items from his residence.
Whether it's a former president or a current president, and of course, if it's going to be a president that this happens to, it's going to be Donald Trump,
Right.
And he's talking about running in 2024. I don't know, man. With all this trouble surrounding, this dude has more investigations and accusations surrounding him and scuttering around him than any other political candidate out there ever, So if he runs in 2024, like you said, Tom, probably his hardest fans, if you will, or people who
He'll get millions of votes, but he will not get reelected.
he will not get enough to. Yeah.
Now, I think Delano, I think the vast majority of the Republican Party, even though they're not saying it out loud, they're waiting for the shoe to drop on revelations about what are the items they were after, and also ramping up to the January 6th committee's allegations that he really inspired and planned the attack on the Capitol.
Right.
And so I think these. And I tell my friends, and I'm getting along with a lot of my friends that I know that are really kind of like overly Republican, but I told them I know we have a lot more in common than we don't.
Yeah.
And if you guys can run a good candidate in 2024 other than Trump, who's got great ideas, maybe that's the way for the parties to coalesce again and work together.
Absolutely. If he runs in 2024, well, first of all, let me ask you this question here. Do you think he should be prosecuted for his actions on January 6th? Do you think he was the person who, I don't want to say conspired or instigated this whole thing?
I think people are testifying behind closed doors and privately, and if Bernstein was being interviewed by CNN, Woodward and Bernstein said it looks, and also John Dean, who was part of uncovering what Nixon did.
Woodward and
all
those guys?
all arrows are pointing in that direction that he is going to get eventually prosecuted for it. But they don't want to say too much now because then the Fox fanatics will say, "See, you're just trying to get him." So they're they're not the people that the FBI is not saying a thing. They're gonna let the Attorney General take care of all that in due time.
Yeah. Well, what do you think personally, Tom, from what you know
Personally,
so
I think
far?
he's going to be prosecuted.
Do you think he should?
Absolutely.
I agree.
Now-
That's just like,
You think he'll go to jail though? He won't go to jail.
I think
Yeah,
he will.
well-
I think he will, Texie. I think that he's no longer the president, and that does hold a lot of clout if you're a former president, but we keep hearing that no one is above the law. So we'll see. Maybe if he's the one exception, that could be the case.
well, Trump has gotten away with so many things over the years. People sort of feel like he's untouchable, but so did Gotti, and he ended up getting got, if you will.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I agree that Donald Trump should be prosecuted. I equate it to this. Let's say you're a guard in prison, and there's a riot. Okay, but before that riot started, one of the prisoners got up and said, "We need to march out of this place. It's going to be wild. We need to get out of here. You know, we should not be locked up. We're here under false imprisonment." And he just started this whole thing. And these prisoners got riled up and a whole riot started. Do you not think they're going to go after and prosecute the person who stood up on those lunch tables and made that huge wild speech about how we should get out of this prison and we're here under false imprisonment and just up there just spewing bullshit?
Can't you see Trump when he's in prison with that red disarrayed hair standing up on the table saying, let's get out of here.
The hair matches the orange jumpsuit.
A big breakout tonight, folks.
Yeah, exactly. And that person there, if that person were to do that, he would be arrested. He or she would be arrested if they were to get up there and just instigate something like that. So what makes Trump different?
I think, Delano, what's happened a lot, though, is when Trump started with saying Obama was not born in America, that was a very deliberate piece of false information. And then saying even before the election, if I don't win, it'll be rigged.
Right.
And so now that his residence was, served the subpoena and they took out those 15 boxes of documents, the people are saying they're just after him. Wait till you see. And then they'll say things like, wait till you see what really happened. Earlier today, the FBI planted all that stuff.
Exactly. I heard that too. So if he gets prosecuted, they find something that's not supposed to be the damaging. They're just going to say that, or he's probably even going to say, "Oh, they planted that there. I didn't take that." So they're going to have to prove that he actually took it.
When I was not being able to play hoops, Delano, I walked quite a bit during the pandemic, and I got into the Sam Harris, who is an amazing gentleman out of L.A. in his early 50s. Hung out with the Dalai Lama, spent years meditating, has 4 or 5 degrees, and he was interviewing people all about what was going on. And he has disdain for the far right and the far left. So Sam Harris is an amazing gentleman that I would refer to everybody watching the show right now. And people said to him, "Why don't you have on this guy that who's Alex Jones? Why don't you have on that guy that was on Alex Jones?"
Let me tell you something, people. You want to buy my grass weed? It's the best thing out there.
So this guy was on Alex Jones about 2 years ago saying that nobody needed the vaccine, antibodies would do it, let the virus spread. And Sam said, I'm not going to have anybody on my show that when I give them the facts, they'll say, "Yeah, but guess what I heard?"
Right.
Oh, you know something's going on.
Yeah. They got something to say about everything.
Yeah.
And Alex Jones is one of for folks out there who don't know who Alex Jones is, he is, I guess not a podcaster, but he's like a political influencer. He's definitely a Trump lover. He gets on he has his own show. I think it's called something.com.
It's got an interesting
Not Star Wars, but it's something.
Infowars.
Infowars.com with Alex Jones. He talks just like this. He's very fast. He's one of those guys who reminds you of a car salesman who's like, "Come on today and get this car for $19.95 and all that type of stuff."
So you guys, when he is having the big trial in Texas, he finally
$45 million.
He finally told everybody in the trial. He said, "The Sandy Hook thing, it 100% happened."
Of course, because
But then he said, "I'm so sorry because there was a lot of people that were concerned on the internet." Okay, asshole. Did you not hear the news the day the kids were shot and murdered? Did you not read it in the newspaper the day the kids were shot and murdered? Oh, but something was on the internet that said that was a staged event?
Yeah,
That's the basis of the lawsuit.
He's not sorry. He's sorry that he lost. He's being sued for $45 million.
Right.
He was on the stand lying till the end of the trial, and they caught him in that big lie. So I loved it. My balls just shriveled up when I heard this. He's on the stand.
Too much information right there, Delano.
I know. I want to be honest with my people. So he's on the stand, and the lawyer asked him, "Did you send out any any texts explaining to your attorney that you didn't say anything about this whole thing being fake?" And or something like that to that effect. And he said, "No, I didn't. I did not send out any text saying anything about this thing being fake." And then the attorney's like, "Sir, we got you.
Accidentally, we got all
your
the texts.
Dumbass attorney accidentally sent me those texts." And
that guy was sitting quietly. That attorney was not moving at all, was he?
Not at all. And yeah, I know the attorney's just standing there like,
Oh,
fuck,
just
he's gonna
exactly
put me
how
out
he
there
looked.
like that. Oh my god, I don't want people to see my face, and because I want to,
I
continue
want to hear
to
that
be an attorney for
conversation
folks.
after they left the courtroom that day and there was no cameras on them.
Oh, you piece of shit,
Alex-
you asshole! I
Alex
hired you.
Jones. Oh,
you
yeah.
lost me $45 million. Yeah,
Listen
absolutely.
here, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, if you ever embarrass me again, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that had to be brutal.
And then, so when he was confronted by the prosecutor, as some comedian said, Alex Jones had all the emojis you see in your phone. I mean, he was just like, his face just went from smiling to laughing to, lying to crying, all in like 2 seconds. The guy was just caught in the lie, and that was his downfall. And I love how the judge said to him, "Sir, this is not your show. You are not going to be in this courtroom lying. You've already committed perjury several times.
Please just
We're
answer
not
the
gonna-"
questions. Don't answer the question, then give a disclaimer.
Exactly,
Which he was
exactly,
doing, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Well, it's the truth to me." And she was like, "Well, your truth is no one else's truth. Okay, your truth is basically a bunch of bullshit." So he got his $45 million. They're saying he's not going to have to pay it all. He's appealing it and all that stuff. But he's an asshole. He's a liar. And hopefully they get all of his money and he dies broken, penniless.
You do a good Alex Jones.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You like that? You like that, Alex Jones?
No.
You probably don't even know who Alex Jones is.
Don't like it.
So Alex Jones, and then now I totally agree with you that Trump should be prosecuted. I believe they're going to find something. I think he's a sneaky motherfucker. I've been saying that from day one. He's a con artist. Okay, he's a racist.
Oh,
He is
For 40 years, he's used attorneys to not pay people.
Yeah, he's a failed businessman, big time. Big
Slum
time.
landlord.
If you're listening to this show and you love Trump and you don't agree with what we have to say, I don't give a damn. Fuck it. This is my opinion. This is how I feel. These are only our opinions. You have your own opinion. You love the man for whatever reason you want to love him. You're a grown person. I'm a grown person. I'm entitled to my opinion. You're entitled to yours. But in my opinion, okay, and everybody on this show who's been on this show,
Pretty much just feels the same.
yeah, pretty much feels the same. And that's why he lost his job. You're fired. So,
By the way, what do you guys think when you? And I'm not trying to give him too much credit, but when the man was younger and had a little bit of a flair about him, he was actually kind of a good-looking guy.
he was.
I see a man that looks
agree.
totally, almost like in ill health. His skin texture, the
Yeah.
bulbousness of his face.
Yeah. Not everyone ages like you, Tommy.
Well,
Not everyone ages
I'm
like
very
you.
blessed to be 55 and look this
You
good.
look
Just
damn
be,
good.
Just be damn sure you don't tell my age.
Man of a certain age. No, I agree with you, Tommy.
Yeah,
He's overweight.
Oh, yeah.
You see the type of food he eats. He
Oh, my
advertises Kentucky Fried Chicken, all this
my
stuff.
Lord.
And then he talks about Biden, like Biden, Sleepy Joe, and he's this guy. He
My one
lost his memory.
If I have a criticism of President Biden when it comes to him
Careful.
when he's giving his presentations,
Oh, yeah.
I think President Biden gets a lot of coaching from people. Less is better.
yeah,
He does tend to go a little bit too long sometimes when he tries to improv.
Yeah.
Or when he's speaking off the cuff.
Yeah.
He says wonderful things, but I think at times I think, I wish he would have quit about a moment earlier.
yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't come across. If you look at younger video of
Right.
Biden when he was younger, I mean, he was just eloquent. He had passion. He had strength in his voice. He had energy, And now he's just kind of like that old. He went from like, hey, I'm, Joe Biden.
Right.
This is how I feel about this, and I approve this message to, we must make sure we do this. And
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Colbert
it's
really
almost
does
like
a
he's,
number on him.
Yeah,
Colbert
I haven't
does,
seen Colbert.
Colbert,
yeah,
does,
no.
Colbert does a Trump that's pretty hilarious.
Oh, he does a Trump.
When Biden's made a couple gaffes,
Yeah,
Colbert
yeah.
would put the dark sunglasses on and start riffing on.
Oh, okay.
All right, here's the thing, kids.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what's going on. Okay, fine. Pancakes,
Yeah, right.
chocolate milk. Be kind. Give your mom a hug.
So being
Colbert's pretty
president,
funny.
being president takes years off your life. Like
I think
every,
so.
Does.
Every president you see from day one to the end of their term is like so much
Ages.
older. Like
Yeah.
look, and Biden's already old.
I know.
You know
He's
what
the
I mean?
oldest.
Well, he's
He's the oldest
79.
president.
Did he just turn 79 or is he 78?
I believe 78.
He's 78.
So he's the oldest president, right? That we
ever.
ever had.
Yeah. And Trump.
So imagine.
By the way, Texie, Trump is already 70.
That's what I was gonna say. Trump
Really?
in
Yeah.
2024, Trump's going to be the same age
As
Biden
Biden.
was when he was calling him
Right.
old and too old to
Right.
do the job and all that type of stuff.
Plus,
So
Trump has a small penis.
yeah,
Oh, by the way,
We all know
Stormy
that.
If he
Daniels.
even has a penis.
Stormy Daniels said that about him.
I'm not surprised. I do not want to think about Trump's orange penis right now at the moment,
he
or
probably-
ever. Why did
he
I say
probably-
right now?
He probably puts makeup on
orange
that
or
too.
carrot top penis.
Yeah, I am not trying to think about Trump's old.
You know, something I thought
Penis.
about on being asked to be on the show on occasion like this, you guys, is when I was younger, and maybe you guys noticed it a little bit when you were like in your late teens, early 20s, news used to be something you came home to and watched at night, then some late night TV and possibly Johnny Carson or Nightline.
Well, it's on
And then
24,
you'd go
yeah.
to bed, get up, and go to work in the morning. Now, when Trump got in, it was wall to wall stuff about him.
And I miss that. I miss those days. I do miss that about Trump. I do miss. He was very entertaining when he was president because you just never knew
It was Comedy
what day.
Central. It was like melodrama.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, what is he going to do next?
Yeah.
That was the thing. What
It was
is he
like,
going to do
instead
next?
of
What is he going to say next?
Days of Our Lives or General Hospital, you watched what was going on with
The
Trump.
news. Yep.
Right. What is he going to say next? What is he going to do next? That was very entertaining, but it was scary at the same time. If Trump was still in office, we'd be in World War III right now.
Oh my!
If Trump was still in office, first of all, I don't know if Putin, his boy, would have decided to invade Ukraine while Trump was in office, if he would put Trump through that whole decision-making process. But if he did, Trump would be with Russia, okay? And definitely China. He had an issue with China. He didn't know how to work well with President Xi and all that. And, I mean, even Biden's having a tough time with that. So can you imagine if Trump was president at the time?
Well, a reporter who has followed Trump for 20-some years and has been all around the world, the reporter said any famous athlete, politician, anybody of any note that's ever visited Moscow, either their voices have been recorded in the room they're in, or there's videos of them. So whether it's a major famous movie star, athlete, that's why they talk about the PP tapes with what Trump did in the hotel there, that Putin has that over Trump.
Sex, like some
Things
type
that
of
he did
sexual
sexually
situation.
while
I believe that.
he was in Moscow.
I believe that. Because Trump was doing some shit out there in Florida. I'm sorry, in Russia, he shouldn't have been doing. I totally believe that. I wanted to say one quick thing about Biden. What I'm impressed with, yeah, he has his issues with age and how he has this grandfatherly thing and how he expresses. He seems old and sleepy and all that stuff, but the man is getting shit done.
Absolutely.
Unemployment is at what 3.6% now.
Low.
It's very low.
Gas prices are finally coming
Gas
down.
prices are coming down. The way he's keeping us out of World War III,
That's right.
way he's handling foreign relations and situations. This new bill that just got passed.
Oh yeah.
The way he's getting with all this these
Manchin,
issues, with all
Manchin
these
and
issues.
Sinema finally came along.
Exactly. With all these issues that Republicans and Democrats, there's none bipartisanship. He's able to get some type of bipartisanship going and getting things passed. Okay, especially this big bill that's going to hugely cut down on global warming. And if you have any kids, if you have any children you love, it's going to cut down, at least on America's part, about 40%.
Delano solar companies are now
Hugely cut
thrilled.
down. And if you have any, I hate that.
Solar.
Sexy.
I saw a guy at my BNI business meeting this morning.
Yeah.
We had a guest who works for a big solar company. He's
Yeah.
thinking about joining our BNI chapter. They're in hog heaven about this new bill because solar companies are now not only going to be getting lots of financing to get people into solar, but when they hook up the house to solar, you'll be charging your electric car for free. Because trust me, the electrical companies would like nothing better than to fuck us over, and instead of gas being your pain in the ass thing,
Electric
what do you
company
mean I'm
pays
paying that much to charge up my car? Well, you know, it's demand's up.
Yeah. They're going to figure out
That's
some way to
bullshit.
get in your ass. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you're allowed to start the show.
That just goes to show you that these companies, it's all about greed.
It
Gas
absolutely,
company,
Texie.
electric companies, it's all about money. They all want big
Greed,
money.
ego, and greed are the two dangerous things in the human person.
Well, that's what Trump is all about.
And some of our biggest
Ego and greed.
corporations are full of that.
Oh, absolutely.
And our president, our former president.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and politicians, period. You know?
Oh,
So,
my brain's very tangential today, but here's something that's
What does
that-
tangential mean?
Meaning my
Anytime
mind
we
is
use a big word on this show, like with Dr.
my
Chris, is
my
here, you have
brain
to
is going
explain
through
that.
different passageways as we speak.
And what's the word tangential?
Tangential.
I like
Yeah.
tangential.
So,
Tangential.
what do
right?
you guys think of this idea?
How do you spell that, Tom?
TANGEN.
Oh, no.
Tangential. TIAL.
Gotcha. Anytime you say a big word on this show, you got to be prepared to spell
So-
it.
All right.
Give a
So
definition and spell it.
yes, and get a dictionary out of your back pocket. So anyway, what are your thoughts, guys, on as gifted as the Supreme Court is now totally fucked up? So,
Yeah.
do you think that somebody at age 35, 40, 45, man or woman, gets on the Supreme Court, should get to be there till they either are too frail or they die? I don't think so. I think
agree.
10 years, you're on the Supreme Court for 10 years,
Yeah.
do the best you can. There's 330 million people, 280 million adults in this country. There's a lot of other brilliant people
Yeah.
that wouldn't do this abhorrent
Yeah.
reversing Roe versus Wade.
Yeah. And times change. If you're some old geezer who's been on the
Right.
Supreme Court for
Some old
40,
white
30,
geezer.
40 years, exactly. Or a black
Clarence,
geezer.
or Clarence Thomas.
Or Clarence Thomas. I hate the guy. I don't like to use the word hate. I very much dislike this man. Who have these values and these morals from the 1950s, and the world is constantly changing because of certain reasons and cultures and things like that. And you still have these old. Can you imagine if we still had people on the Supreme Court that were there in the 50s? Where our country would be now?
People said, one of my buddies back
So
in
I totally
Indiana,
agree with you, Tom.
Delano, one of my buddies back in Indiana, when that came out, that decision, and I didn't catch what Bill said at first when I saw his text,
Wait, what one came out?
the decision to reverse Roe versus
Roe
Wade.
versus Wade. Gotcha.
Bill said to me in the text, well, set your clocks back 50 years. And I thought, it's not time to change the time zone. I didn't get what he was saying.
Yeah. You
But-
didn't know that story was out yet, or you just didn't get the reference?
In other words, that he was saying, it's what you just said, Delano.
yeah.
It's like going back to
To
1970.
1970. And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, the biggest Roe versus Wade probably will take over the mantle of the biggest bonehead decision. But guess what? Prior to this, guess what the biggest bonehead decision is the Supreme Court ever did?
Something they reversed.
No, something they passed. You'll love the story. It's a great story.
I'm not sure what is it.
Dred Scott.
Dred Scott. Yeah.
Dred Scott versus the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Dred Scott was a slave. His owner got to be very realistic and said, this has not been right that we own slaves. Upon my death, you'll be free. The man died. Dred Scott moved and started a family. The heirs, the descendants, were furious. So by the time we threw all the lower courts, it ended up going to the Supreme Court. Should Dred Scott be free? Supreme Court had 9 white men.
Of course.
7 of the 9 white men were slave owners.
Of course.
So how do you think that decision worked out?
Yeah. Dred Scott, you were still a slave.
You're still a slave.
Yeah.
So
What about the whole separate but equal whole thing? Isn't that when you hear that today? It is. I mean, of course, we all know how
well, tell
racism was.
the audience what that means, Delano.
Okay, so separate but equal was something the Supreme Court voted on. I forget what year it was, but they declared that black people will be considered equal, but you will be separate from white people. Okay, so and this
Well explained.
thank you very much. This was more about school busing and school
Cafes.
and cafes and segregation and that whole thing. So, I mean, it's almost like back then we won something, but what did we really win? It's like, okay, we're gonna give you this here, boy, but just keep in mind you're gonna have to stay in your place.
Well, after
was just-
after the 13th Amendment, the laws and the procedures among the white people, the amount of prisoners that are African American,
Oh boy.
because of all the different ways they were put in prison for things a white person would have gotten out in a few months,
Yeah.
sent for years. So
Yeah.
there's always been this horrible, horrific, like low wages is a mild form
Yeah.
of being subjugated.
Yeah. Yeah.
A good book that I've read called Tightrope by a husband and wife team that won the Pulitzer Prize. Tightrope said, just like walking a tightrope, if you adjusted the minimum wage from 1968 to today, the dishwasher in your favorite cafe should be making $22 an hour.
Yeah.
So he could have himself a little. You're very blessed to have what you have, your property and your wonderful place that you talked about at Big Bear. That dishwasher that could, you know,
he's Mexican.
I've got myself a little room somewhere, or I've got myself a tiny apartment somewhere.
Yeah. $22 an hour here in California is not going to take you
Well,
all the way, but
that would
it's
be-
something. It's better than
Right.
$8 an hour.
$8
yeah.
or under $10 off. So all those things that have been the rich getting richer agreed. The new thing, don't you like the new thing that people making over $400,000 are, no one making under $400,000 are going to be penalized at all with the new taxes. But people making over $400,000 a year, they're going to pay more
15%.
taxes.
Yeah.
And
These are corporations,
the people
though, right?
over a billion, corporations that over a billion, they're finally going to write everything off. And what, you didn't pay
Yeah.
any taxes?
Yeah, they got to pay 15% now. of
Yes.
their earnings. That's a lot
That's
of
gonna
money.
put-
That should have been done a long time ago.
Absolutely.
Well, Biden. I mean,
Well, that's
you know,
why
and
the people put him in
bipartisanship.
office. That's why the people
Thank you.
want him in office.
Trump, you know, I think they said something. The famous story is after he had just presented something in his administration to get voted on, he went to some of his constituents and said, "I just made you." I'm doing Bill Clinton. I'm sorry. I just made you a whole lot of. Well, that's Bill Clinton and Trump. I can't do a Trump impression, but I just made you a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what he said to him, and it's true.
And
It's
how
true.
about getting rid of the environmental protections that were in place
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
corporations to continue
Yeah.
doing?
And his NATO
What's that surface mining called?
Fracking.
Fracking.
Yes, that's fracking. And then NATO. Trump was trying to get us. He was trying to separate.
Because
The
he
United
didn't feel
States
the
from-
countries are paying their fair share of the money.
Yeah, man, that's. This guy would. I'm so glad. Again, I'm so glad he didn't get elected because he would have us in such a messed up situation right now, and he's not going to.
You
get
want to hear
elected.
something scary?
What?
When the pandemic hit, and luckily the pandemic was not as
That's another-
horrific
that's another one.
statistically as the 1918 flu. Okay,
Thank God.
thankfully.
Yeah.
When that pandemic broke out, and he even told Woodward, Trump said to Woodward, "This is not the flu.
Thank you.
This is propellants."
Yes.
Had Trump said, "My fellow Americans, Dr. Fauci and his team, they're in charge. I'm stepping into the background. Listen to them."
Yep.
That MFer might have got reelected.
Thank you.
Scaring the shit out of me a little bit.
It was the way he handled the pandemic. That's what I never liked the man in the beginning, but the way I remember during the interview, Woodward recorded all this,
Yes.
all these
Yes.
discussions he had with Trump, and Trump said to him, "This is not the average flu. This is something. This is
He
going
said
to
that to
kill."
Woodward.
Yes, he said this is something that's dangerous and it's going to kill
Yes.
millions of people. He admitted all this, right? But he's telling the world on camera, we're turning the corner on this thing.
China virus.
It's the sniffles. Exactly. It's the sniffles. Nothing to worry about. Why? Because he wanted to keep the economy in good shape. You know,
He was sicker than he
that
was sicker than
Obama.
he let on.
Yeah,
When he went
Obama.
in-
Got it?
When he went into Walter Reed,
Yeah.
Texas, he came close to death.
Yeah.
Really?
But
I didn't
really quick, Obama.
They had to fly. They had to get him there right away.
Yeah. Okay, I'm talking to. No, you're right. He was sick.
talk
No,
too much.
Obama's economy that he had in good shape that Trump inherited it. He wanted to keep it in good shape, so he was afraid that America would panic. No, his ass panicked, and he lied to the country, and millions of people lost their lives. He should be sued for all these people who've lost their lives because of his lying.
Now,
as
the
president.
people that were
people
too-
look for a leader. You want a
Right,
leader,
right.
like Biden. Biden is like, look, we're not turning the corner on this thing. It's still what
huge.
it is.
It was huge when we got this thing passed.
Absolutely,
huge,
absolutely. It's
yeah.
still what it is. We have these vaccines that we are going to be administering, even though Trump takes credit for that. Oh, I'm the one who came up with the vaccine. If it wasn't me, I'm the one who gave the money.
Once again,
Yeah.
had he had half a brain,
He would have gotten reelected.
probably would have got reelected.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know who was advising him or whatnot, but he just seems like the type of person who doesn't take advice
Well,
very well.
nobody's advising him because William Barr and the whole coterie of people
They couldn't say
told
anything
him,
to
"You've lost. Let's go ahead and get ready for the transition." And the things that he edited out, Texie, when he was telling the mob to leave the Capitol.
Yeah.
No, I can't. Well, no, I can't. No, I can't say that
Yeah.
the election's been determined. That's so revealing about his arrogance.
Yeah. We can go on and on about this man, but his days are over. Okay, he's still in the news. He's still in the news cycle,
Fingers
which
crossed.
is very.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you, and I know we said this in 2016, that this man's not going to get elected.
Yeah, but you told me I was ugly once. You don't. I can't
Oh,
believe
I
you.
still stand by that. I think most of the American people will stand by with. We win in that election.
So he's still going to try to run again.
Oh
right?
yeah, 2024. Well,
Yeah.
he's flirting. He's saying he hasn't officially said it, but the man is keeping himself in the news. He's trying
They
to
were
keep
going to
himself.
maybe announce very quickly because of all this too.
Yeah, he was about to announce it, and then this came up. So, do you think anybody's going to vote? This is how the American people feel. Okay, they just want to go about their daily lives, and they want somebody who's, no matter if it's a Republican or Democrat,
Exactly.
who's just going to be a leader and lead this country. Do your job so I can mind my business and do my
Right.
job each and
You're
every
right.
day. That's all the American people
Delano,
want.
you
instead
could have
of-
said it better. That's exactly right.
Except for the, never mind. You know, those guys who support Trump and drive around with MAGA and shit all over the car.
Yeah.
Mhm. Those are the hardcore.
They turned it into like a gang. Like,
Yeah.
like they had
he
nothing else.
speaks for us.
Nothing else going on in their life, and because I was in Santa Barbara and Santa Ynez doing some work, and like there's these tractor trailer trucks driving around with MAGA license plates are MAGA and shit. Like I'm like these motherfuckers are like a gang. Like
Big flags on the truck.
Yeah. They and then they see
I'm glad you got the hell out of there.
and then they see a guy like me because I still wear my mask when I go into places
Sure.
because I mean with you guys
Because you think you're there to rob the place anyway, you may as well wear your mask in there. Exactly.
yeah. So I still wear a mask sometimes, and I could feel the stare on those fucking people staring
Yeah.
me down because not only am I Mexican, but I'm also wearing a mask, so I must be
must be a-
Biden follower, right?
Up there in
just-
white
must be
man's
a-
territory,
just-
Santa Barbara.
sir.
Yeah, you must be one of those liberal.
Yeah.
You one of them liberal Mexicans, ain't you?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
but
just,
I hear
feel
you.
it. I feel it. I feel
hear
the. Not only do I feel like the.
You can sense it.
Yeah, it's like the deep stares, and I almost read their minds,
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
sure. You can tell.
Yeah.
You can.
Oh, yeah.
You can. I mean, your instincts tell you a lot about people.
Right.
It really do. And I think there's an underswelling. I think that there's majority of people are thinking, "Oh my Lord, we've got to get to the polls." Kansas sent a message to the Supreme Court, basically saying, "You guys really did a horrible job reversing Roe versus Wade," because Kansas is a very red state, but Republican women, men, and Christian evangelicals showed out to say, "I don't like it. I hate abortions, but you've gone too far." That was huge.
Yeah,
That was huge.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and that showed the world, if you will, that it's almost like you've crossed the line with this.
You crossed the line.
because America's
You'd
used
be a
to.
good guy hosting this show. I don't know. I'm getting a feeling about this.
I'm auditioning for the job each and every week. America, thank you, Tommy. I appreciate that. America is used to advancing, okay, getting more rights. We've never been in a situation where, after we've had rights for 50 years, all of a sudden, overnight, these rights are
And
taken away from
unravel
us.
and unravel other things about gay marriage,
Yes.
transgender people.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. They say next they're going to come after interracial couples and
Right.
marriages and things like that.
Absolutely.
It's just this is almost like the starting point of what do you call it? A nation that's
Well, you'd almost call it like a plutocracy, where you get a few people, like the older white. I mean, it's overly generalizing a bit, but a lot of younger people have told me that guys my age and older, we've had our time doing these things. It's time now for younger people that are more progressive, who want better things for people, not detracting from the growth of people.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm from
Tom-
that era, guys. I'm from the era where everything was pretty much all white controlled.
And that's what I'm glad you brought that up. Tom is a man of a certain age, and that's why we like having him on the show. To be honest, he has life experience. He's been around for a while, but he's nothing like his ideals, his thoughts and morals are nothing like what, especially black people. A black person would look at you, Tom, and like, oh, okay, he's older, he's a certain age. He comes from that era. He's probably racist. He's probably he probably believes in separate but equal bullshit and that type of thing. He wouldn't want me to date his daughter or granddaughter and that type of thing. But you're nothing like that. Nothing like that, which is why
I got to
a
tell
huge
you,
reason why you and I
Delano,
connect.
Delano, Texie, part of it is I have been the blessing of being born a Greek. So the Greeks have never had it as horrible as the blacks. But at the turn of the 1900s, Italians were being murdered in New Orleans during some battles over the shipping there, being just outright murdered. And also, when I was in college, at a small college in Nebraska, the one night we were in the big, what you call the recreation room watching TV, and some of the white boys in Nebraska started talking bad about black people and using the N-word. And Chuck Frankman, God rest his soul, he passed away very young. My good buddy Larry Johnson and I, 3 of us in a room full of 60 guys, schooled them up real good.
Really?
And this one guy said, what if your son would want to marry somebody who's black? And I said, wouldn't that be his decision? And kind of got the crowd under control.
Right.
And I'm proud to tell you that my son, his first 3 kids that he adopted are African American.
American, that's right.
Then they had 2 kids born to them.
Right.
And then they adopted 3 small white boys. But my grandson, Colby, is going to be playing for Pittsburgh State, Kansas as a wide receiver. And he won the 100 meters in high school in Oklahoma. And they won the state title in football. Wow. And Colby's half black. So I'm showing Eric, he's got a security company in Sherman Oaks. He went to school with, he went to Auburn with Charles Barkley. So I'm showing Eric highlights of Kobe, but you can't see what color he is. So I'm showing his moves. And Eric said, is he black?
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. I wonder why. You remember this character named Jimmy the Greek years ago?
He got in trouble.
Yeah. He got in trouble.
Black people can't float.
He says shit
They
like
can't
that.
swim. They'll sink. They can't swim.
'Cause
Oh,
the
you're
bone
too
dens-
young. You're too young, Texie.
It was
Yeah,
the
I don't
bone
know.
density. And he also said,
And ruined his broadcast. He was beloved as a guy that would talk about betting, Jimmy the Greek, boxing, football. They loved him, and that totally ended his TV career.
oh, but what you said is not even a half of it. He once said that, well, black people, the reason why they're such good athletes is because you see, back in the centuries ago, they would get the biggest buck of a black man and the biggest buck of a black woman, and they would mate these two, and they would come out with, with these buxom children, and throughout the centuries, that's why they're such great athletes, because they were bred that way.
Oh, yeah.
And
A
Brett
sports
Musburger was
commentator?
like, what the fuck?
Well, no, they tried to get him to retract.
Yeah, it's like,
he didn't back off of it.
He just kept talking, and he lost his job for that shit.
Well, then Marge Schott. You
funny
guys
to
are a
me.
little bit young, but Marge Schott was the owner of the Cincinnati Reds, and they found out that she had a lot of Nazi paraphernalia in her house. So the press finally confronted her, and she said about Adolf Hitler, well, he did some nice things. He constructed a lot of new roads. The other baseball owners, they got her fired. She no longer, the next day, no longer owned the Cincinnati Reds.
I would imagine to Jewish people hearing that someone say that, Hitler had some nice qualities about him is like hearing that, black folks hearing that about, I don't know, David Duke. David Duke was not too bad of a guy if you really talk to him.
He drives a nice
fuck outta
car.
here. Exactly. So that's the world we live in, folks, and that's a little bit about politics and Donald Trump and Biden, my guy. If he were to run again, the only reason why I wouldn't want to vote for, I would be afraid to
What do you
vote for
think,
Biden
Delano?
this time, is his age.
But do you think that
That's it.
you think he might acquiesce to let another person run and still have Kamala be VP?
He said,
I don't think Kamala could win.
No, she's not very beloved. He said he wants to run again.
Okay.
He said he wants to run again, and then when they asked, because I watch Morning Joe, I watch these shows.
Oh, good.
And when they ask, they've asked a lot of these Democrats who are on the show, these congressmen and senators, do you think he should run again? They don't really have an answer. They love his policy, they love what he does, but they're not going to say, oh, the guy's too old. They're just not going to say that.
Right.
But I know that's what they're thinking, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know if in his second term, what if he falls? I was watching this thing on YouTube last night, American presidents and how they passed away. A few of them passed away while in office and that type of thing. and they talked about how Joe Biden is the oldest president ever elected. You know, so I'm just a little afraid of that, and he seems to be kind of on the decline. Not kind of
A little
he is
bit.
on
A little
the
bit.
decline.
Well, there are
His
times when
cognitive
he
skills, you
seems-
know.
There's times when I'm thinking he's cognitively pretty good, and other times I think less is more. If he would just kind of be real close.
They call him Clint Eastwood, you know. Just say one word.
Now, when you look at Biden, he's got the haircut, but why doesn't he trim the long hairs on the back of his neck? Because that makes him look older. When you see an older guy in his 70s or 80s, and he's got the hair shooting down his neck instead of being more trimmed.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at pictures of Biden when he was in his 40s, 50s maybe, he was bald.
He's still balding.
But his hair now, he has hair up there now.
Probably
Like
did
for
implants.
somebody,
He probably did
Biden's
implants.
supposed exactly. Biden's supposed. I remember there was a few pictures
Plus, he
I've
got
seen
bigger
where you can
tits too.
see
Biden
that.
wanted to have more of a chest too. He got bigger tits too.
I'm not surprised. He was a little vain. He's a politician. But if you look at him when he was younger, the guy was spry, young,
Oh, yeah.
and I always felt like Biden was he would be a good political
big
candidate.
thing,
Trump
once you
was
get-
intimidated by him too.
Yeah.
By the way, remember the Ukrainian president? He was trying to do the whole tit for tat. You get something on Biden, and then maybe
yeah.
I'll help you, because he was threatened by Biden. But anyway, go ahead, Tom. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Well, there's some other thing about when Biden was very young as a senator. His big gaffe when he ran for president early was the plagiarism.
Plagiarism.
You guys have to look that up. He started quoting a lot of
Oh,
people,
that's right. I saw
Texie,
that. Yeah.
that were famous. He was
That's
using
right.
their quotes and their words as though they
really?
were his
That's
own.
right. Yeah.
If you
That was the
Google-
first
later,
time he ran for
later
president.
on, Google Biden's plagiarism.
He was 27 years old at the
He was
time.
a young guy.
He was very young.
Young guy.
Huh. Look
Got-
at him when he was young. The guy
Caught him,
was.
caught him. It was pretty embarrassing for him for a while.
Wow.
And then when he ran,
Kind of
this
like when
time-
Brian Williams pretended he had been under fire in a helicopter. and
Oh,
li-
that
and
ended
lied.
his career. Well, he's still
Well,
around.
he came back strong
He made a
before he
comeback.
retired.
Yeah.
God bless him.
People
he came
forgave him.
He was like he turned out to be really respected a lot.
Well, he's a good journalist. He just got caught in that lie. But anyway, yeah. But you want America to trust you, and we forgave him. America's very forgiving in a lot of ways. You know. Now, if you're Bill Cosby and R. Kelly, you forget about it.
my.
But you know, it just depends on how
Oh
heinous
my
the thing
God,
is.
You're exactly right.
But Biden, again, he, I think the second time or third time he ran, or even this last time he ran, what almost got him was his record on segregation and the whole busing
Back
situation, and also his vote on the American Crime Bill, where 3 strikes and you're out.
he was
a lot of
he
politicians
supported that.
from back in those days supported that. But here's the thing with that. A lot, and you mentioned this earlier, Tom. You kind of hit on it. A lot of black men, a lot of black people, for that matter. And I saw this thing on Netflix. It's really good. It's called Crack. Okay, it's about black people back in the '90s who were arrested for being caught with a small little, I don't know, milligram, that's whatever, of crack, and getting years and years and
Oh,
years
it's
for it.
horrible.
And because of this whole crime bill that Bill Clinton passed, 3 strikes and you're out, right? Yeah. But then once white people started getting caught up, not with crack, but with meth and things like
Cocaine.
that,
Right.
cocaine, once it started affecting the homes or affecting them, all of a sudden, oh, these people need help. We need to get them, all the social services came back. We need to get them help. This is a mental disease. It's not a crime, it's a mental disease. Well, what about all these black people who've been locked up and still locked up
Horrible.
for the same situation?
Terrible.
Their lives have been turned around. Their children grew up without a father or a mother.
Here's what's shocking, Delano.
Because the father was arrested and that type of thing. It's affected the black community to this day, and it's so sad that whole thing. So that's again, they were a product of their time, and they didn't, I guess, really see ahead. But I'm a little upset at Biden and all those politicians, Hillary Clinton and all that.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton, who
Yeah.
I actually respect as a president.
That's
because of the
that,
whole
that's that
situation
law
right
and order bullshit that they pull out the law and order card just to get people frightened to vote. But you'll be stunned at this. Oklahoma, you will not find a state any redder than Oklahoma. But the governor of Oklahoma, God bless this guy, there were these women, most of them of color, who were getting caught with fentanyl and drugs again, but they had babies. And he said, we've got to help these people.
Yeah.
So he created a program that's now being looked at by the other governors,
Yeah.
where they rehabilitate them to the point where they got clean and sober, they got jobs, and then they had a graduation. And at their graduation, judges, highway patrolmen, police officers, and probation people
Yeah.
all broke down and cried at their graduation
That's
because they were aired to be with their baby and not be in prison.
You know, I think about this. You know, when someone gets hooked on drugs, usually it's because of the situation they're in. I don't know, they're stressed. They're going through something in life, and no one goes through the most shit in life than black people. Okay, so what do? And I'm not saying it's a good decision. They
Escape to the drug.
escape to the drugs, the crack. It was easy to get $5 a rock, that type of thing. So when they do this, what happens? They get hooked, and now they're in a
Can't
situation.
go to work.
Can't go to work. Now you're in the streets selling your body.
Yep.
You know you can't take care of your kids.
That's right.
That whole thing. So these children lose a mother. They see
Oh,
their
my.
mother grow up like this, and how does it affect them? They lose their father because he's probably out there slinging drugs or
Those
whatever.
three little young white boys that are now 10, 9, and 7, and the youngest one was 4 months old when Stephen Kelly adopted them. Both the parents are in prison for crystal meth.
Wait, who are these?
The last three children, my son and
Oh,
his-
your son. Okay.
he's got
Both
8
of you.
kids. So
Yeah.
the last three little white boys that were all from the same family,
Right.
the husband and wife, they're in prison because of fentanyl and my grandson, who's a policeman in El Cajon,
Yeah.
this fentanyl is killing a lot of people.
Yeah. That's and it's not
Fentanyl's
white
no
and
joke,
black
man.
folks.
Fentanyl is like
Yeah.
almost instantly killing people.
Yeah. Is this the one where they have the sheriff as soon as they get exposed to this, they just faint? Is that what that is?
So yeah,
Is that drug?
It's a drug. That,
It's an OxyContin type thing, isn't
so
it?
yeah, so the guy, what's going on with the?
All you have to do is be in the vicinity and you fall out, right?
So for the drug dealers and the people who are processing these drugs, they're cooking it with the meth because it's cheaper and it makes more of it. So it's just an ingredient to make.
I mean, they're dying while they make it.
No.
Oh.
But they're not. These people are. They're not chemists. So
Right.
when they put too much of it into the batch or to the mix, and then you
Oh.
go and do some speed or whatever,
Okay.
and then you get a bad batch, it just kill you.
heart
instantly.
explodes.
Yeah.
Oh my.
There's some drug as soon as the sheriff is exposed or the police
it's a
officers
fentanyl.
have gotten exposed.
It's
That's
fentanyl.
Fentanyl. That's it.
Yeah.
Fentanyl.
wow. So
It's no joke, man. It kills you quick.
what happened to weed, man? Can we just
It's
Oh,
legal.
and the evangelical right
nothing.
think that weed's going to lead to all. What about alcohol? What about alcohol?
yeah.
Where it just destroys.
Absolutely.
families.
Speaking of alcohol, well, it was found out she wasn't on alcohol. She didn't drink alcohol.
That lady who crashed.
There's a huge
Like you said,
situation here.
emotionally, you were saying earlier before the show, she might have been overwrought because of getting broken up by her boyfriend.
Yeah, so there was a really bad car accident here last week in Windsor Hills, like the Inglewood area. I was actually Slauson and La Brea, but folks who, because this is a national show, they don't know what we're talking about. I was actually down the street when this happened. I didn't see it, but people were talking about it. But there was a young lady from Texas. She's a nurse, a traveling nurse, who was traveling 90 miles per hour down a steep hill in the Los Angeles area, and she just ran a red light. Okay, crashed into a few cars,
3 or 4 cars.
3 or 4 cars, instantly setting those cars on
Wiped
fire.
out a family, an entire family.
Wiped out a pregnant mother, her boyfriend,
and her infant.
her infant. She was pregnant. Her infant. I'm sorry.
Child too.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I keep saying she was pregnant. And a few other people. I from what I heard, a Good Samaritan tried to help. He caught on fire and that type of
He
thing.
tried to help the baby. He tried to resuscitate the baby, but couldn't do anything.
And he ended up dying or something like that. So it was just a huge, sad, unfortunate tragedy. And this woman here survived. She came out with a few nicks, maybe a broken wrist or broken ankle or something like that. And they're saying the rumor was that she had a little bit too much to drink because she was dealing with a breakup with her boyfriend.
But they said there was no. I thought they said there was no.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The rumor, but then they found out later, that she didn't have any alcohol in her system. She didn't have any drugs in her system.
Wow.
Now they're trying to say that it was some type
Suicidal?
of mental.
Okay.
situation or medical situation. And she was in court the other day. I watched the whole thing. It's about 16 minutes long, and the judge and the attorneys are going back and forth. The judge is trying to decide if he should let her out on bail and that
$9
type
million.
of thing. $12 million.
Oh, $12.
$12 million. And she's sitting there in court, face is just straight, matter of fact, not looking like she didn't give a fuck, right? As soon as the judge thankfully said, look, she's a nurse. If there was a medical situation, she's a nurse. She should be aware of that, and she should have had that situation resolved or whatever. But, she should have been doing something about that. So no bail. She is a danger to the public. We're not going to send her out on bail, or we're not going to give her a bail. Then she starts crying. And when I saw that, I said, okay, this woman is nuts. She's nuts. She didn't give a fuck about any of those families until it came down to what's going to happen to her ass. So whatever she gets, she deserves it. I hope she gets held a death penalty. Maybe this will be the first DUI, if it hasn't existed before, where the person... Oh, actually, I'm sorry. No, not DUI, because she's not under the influence. It'll be the first reckless car situation or reckless driving situation
Well, how about
where
the
she
guy
gets the
on
death penalty.
How about I know you're getting ready to wrap up, Delana, but the guy that was texting about
you got all
13,
night,
14 years ago up near the 118 on the train and killed all the people on the train. Yeah, this might have been 13, 14 years ago.
With
It
his
was one of
car?
no, it was one of the trains that take people up to Santa Clarita.
Yeah.
He's texting, and there was a danger in front of him, and he collided with another train and killed a whole bunch of people.
So he's the train
probably-
conductor? He's the driver?
Oh, he was the driver of the train.
And he's
probably
texting?
in prison right now.
Oh, my
Yeah,
gosh.
texting.
Yeah.
Texting.
See? Well, this lady wasn't texting.
No.
She intentionally drove down that, and I've been in that area. It's a steep
steep,
hill.
huh?
And if you're going down that hill, even at like 30 miles per hour, your car can, the
Momentum.
momentum of your car can push you at almost like
Even
80
the-
miles
even
per
the
hour.
momentum.
The momentum could have killed. Even if she put her car in neutral, that would have caused some serious damage.
Dude,
But
just watching that video.
It looked
is
like a bullet train,
crazy.
right?
Just like
Oh yeah.
she just plowed, and the car she hit, it almost looked like it disintegrated. Like it, so she hit it so
Split it in
hard.
half.
Yeah, she hit it so hard, and
Oh.
that car and the car behind it just got.
So
mangled.
basically,
Very
there was
disturbing.
no indication of any skid marks.
No.
No, she didn't hit the brakes at all.
She didn't hit the brakes at all. Imagine you're driving somewhere. You wake up that morning, normal day. I believe this young lady was on her way. Everybody's talking
She's on
about
way to
her,
the
but
doctor.
5 other people lost their lives too. But she's on her way to the doctor, a normal doctor appointment. Her and her boyfriend,
The prenatal doctor.
excited about starting their family. Normal day, probably happy. Woke up the kids. They happened to drive through this intersection and didn't even see. This is the type of situation. This one was going so fast they died
Can't.
instantly.
Oh, you can't.
They didn't see that coming
You can't.
at all. So that's the good thing about it. Because if I'm going to die, I'd rather just die
And
instantly.
not be
than
severely injured where you can never function.
definitely
Yeah.
wouldn't be in that situation. But here's a question: if you were to die in any situation, would you rather die instantly or would you rather see it coming before it happens?
Instantly.
Yeah, instantly.
Instantly.
Right. That's why if I'm going to die, I'm going to die. I want to die in my
If,
sleep.
if a lady had big boobs and it was going to hit me, I'd want to see that. The split second before her tits hit me in the face.
I know, right?
You know, a little back old story. When I was in my 20s, I was at a bar and I was, minding my own business, and then someone decided to start shit with
Stab
me.
you, right?
So I got stabbed in the back, but being stabbed didn't hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't hurt.
I mean, your body goes numb.
Oh, you mean
'Cause
you
you didn't
didn't
see it
realize
coming.
it even stabbed you?
I didn't. I mean,
Like you just hit
I
you on the
kind of
back?
knew I got stabbed because I felt like the
Oh.
puncture.
Oh, wow, okay. That's
But
not a bad
like-
spot there, too.
But it didn't.
got
I
your
don't
hair by
remember
the kidney?
pain. Yeah,
That's a scary spot
yeah,
there
I got lucky.
by your kidneys.
I got lucky that
Jeez.
I didn't get nothing.
Right.
But yeah, I remember
What was her name?
that's
Was
what
she
my
worth
dad-
it?
That's what my dad said. The first thing he said, "Whose girl you fucking with?"
Was she worth it?
Nah, but it had nothing to do with the female.
No,
But
my.
and
yeah.
that I guess that's what you would first think, because
Did you immediately go to the outpatients?
so I
ER?
no, I was I was out in the patio of this bar, and then I walked to the bar, and I told the bartender, can you call the paramedics? Like, I just
Oh,
got
good.
stabbed. And
Oh,
he
good.
was like,
Nobody
"What?"
saw it.
Yeah, people saw it.
Did they
But
get the
you had to
guy?
ask for
Did
help?
they get the guy?
Yeah, that's another
Yeah,
story.
that's a
too.
whole. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy got the
He got his.
Industry sheriffs let that guy walk, man. Like it just they let him go.
But didn't you get him later or somebody you
Nah.
know?
No.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, okay.
So yeah. I started to bleed a lot. The bartender went to call the paramedics, and then I
Passed
kind of
out.
passed out.
Yeah.
Passed out, and the next time I remember is when they were wheeling me out in the gurney and putting me into the back of the.
I remember that. I read that in the paper text as you were being wheeled out. Hey, $8 for the 2 drinks.
When you realized when you realized what happened,
Yeah.
did the pain kick in then?
No, because by then they were already feeding me shit.
Yeah, giving you painkillers. Yeah.
So what? Okay, but outside the painkillers, the pain was had to be.
I didn't
like-
have
No, he said he
I
went
didn't-
numb after he
I
got
never-
stabbed. Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as you
when
got
you
stabbed,
first got stabbed. I'm talking about later.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
then
so
they
later,
already gave him
I was
medication.
already in. On
But you're still healed. They're not giving you painkillers.
I didn't feel
every
pain.
day.
I didn't feel pain until the first time I stood up out of bed.
Right.
Right.
He
And I
would.
felt pain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How many times did he stab you?
8 times.
Oh, damn.
Oh, he did. He stabbed you 8 times. Oh, you're lucky to be
8
alive.
times. Yeah. Well, I got there's
You're lucky to be alive.
4 or 5 in the back.
Still got
and
the
I-
scars there, buddy?
Yeah.
Were
I
you
got
fighting
one on
him
my
off?
arm. Yeah,
So
because
you-
I got one on my arm because I blocked one, and then I got 2 on my leg.
And that guy did get charged.
Leg? He
No.
got you in the leg?
Because I was on the floor and I was kicking.
Okay.
Wow, what an
Like, damn, he's
asshole.
like-
So the reason why he stopped is because I put my leg up and I got my leg out a couple, and then
Yeah.
my right leg came around and got him in the face, kicked him in the face,
Nice.
and he stopped.
Now, and this wasn't over. Was this over the female? Was it over? Or is
Yeah.
it just? Oh, it was
Yeah.
over a girl. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Damn.
it's not over a female, dumbass.
Well,
Just the
well,
guy
you said
went
you were
crazy,
talking
huh?
to- So
There
why
was
did
no,
he stab
There
you?
was no female.
Oh, you don't want to get into.
Did
all
you have
that.
word? You had words with him, and he got mad.
So the confrontation was with another guy, and if you want to know the story, this other guy had issues with me because he got a DUI because I kicked him out of my house a year prior.
Mm-hmm.
He was drinking, got a little crazy, kicked him out of my house. He
Mhm.
left and crashed his truck and got a DUI. So he had problems with me because of it.
Mhm.
Blamed me for that shit.
He used to be your roommate.
No, we were just having a little
Party,
party at the house.
party.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And he thought, he blamed me for that shit. So a couple years later, or a year later,
A year later?
I
get over it?
ran into him and
Oh, ran into the guy,
and so he was confronting me with some shit, and then he had his
buddy.
buddy come behind, and which is his cousin. Yeah.
So it wasn't even him that stabbed you. It was his
No,
buddy.
yeah.
His
That's some
buddy
dumb
though was
shit,
backing
man.
him up.
And this
Wow.
is all on tape and on videotape, and yeah, they let the guys go.
Wow.
Bullshit.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
Pretty
You've told
bad.
me this story many times. I forgot
Yeah.
the
That's 'cause
full
you don't
details
listen.
of it or where. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. But no.
Well,
I'll probably ask you a year from now. what
Texie,
happened.
give different details next time.
Yeah.
Make stuff up.
Yeah.
I think that's what it does. It is. He adds something every story. You know.
Yeah.
It
The
was
first
a tall,
time it was a
but-
girl.
a tall blonde.
The second time it was a tranny.
That was a
Yeah.
midget. Midget.
No, it's a sad
But
situation.
the bar paid me some money for that.
Oh, good.
Oh, you sued him?
Hell yeah, I sued them.
Okay.
Made some money out of it
100K.
Whoa,
Nah.
how did you sue the bar? It wasn't their fault.
because they allowed somebody to come in with
Right.
nothing.
Oh,
It was their fault.
Okay, yeah. Wow, yeah, wow. That was some good thinking there. You're thinking
Yeah.
quick on your feet.
So then my lawyer got greedy and I didn't make as much money as I thought.
Yeah.
He stabbed you in the back. Huh?
He did.
Yeah,
He
got
did.
stabbed by the attorney too.
He did. He literally stabbed me in the back because, yeah, he took a backdoor deal and got paid, and I got left behind.
So what brought us to that story?
I don't know. Pain.
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 But
Um,
the people that get intoxicated do things.
So there was a lot of other stuff I wanted to get into. I wanted us to talk about Texie. We were talking about this before the show. My man Texie is having just a great life right now. He's achieved a lot of success. He's achieved a lot of. He's brought in. He was able to purchase a lot of toys and things like that. Things that a man should have. His life is going well right now, and he's been able to manage his money quite well over the past few years, where he's able to to experience the success.
Great.
So I kind of wanted to, I guess you could say, how to manage your money 101 from Texie. I wanted to get into that.
Yeah.
But I think that's something good we can get into next
That'd be
time
fair.
we're up,
Yeah.
because I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about that. And
That's
maybe
good.
he can do his homework, because if we had him talk about it now, he'll probably talk about it for like 2 minutes. But I want you to really go in depth on
It
this.
could benefit a lot of people that are definitely
Yes, he's been saying that. He's been saying kids should learn, and he's so right.
I think
kids
that
should learn
in school. They
in
should
school.
teach finance or something like
absolutely
that.
outside of college.
Yeah.
Because they do
They don't-
teach that in
they
college.
don't
It's an
really teach
elective.
it- They don't
It's
really
a-
teach it in college. You
Well,
gotta-
they have a class.
They don't.
They
They
don't.
don't.
Well, it's an elective. I took it in
Yeah,
college.
but they don't get-
finance.
Yeah.
But
they
you
don't
have to
teach
kind
you.
of.
They don't teach you life
Oh.
skills type financing, like stuff that
Stuff your
all you
daddy
learn.
would
All you
teach
learn is growing up is how to get credit and how to get yourself in debt.
Right.
I didn't learn.
And
how-
that's
I didn't learn
because
that.
these
Have you got a
companies-
good example of a relative who kind of showed you the ropes on that,
a relative?
or did you come up about it yourself?
I don't know. Yeah, I kind of learned.
You're
my
kind
way
of a
on my
natural
own
saver, you're-
Because, well, I mean, when I was young, I was in debt. Of
Mhm.
course, first time I was able to get my hands on a credit card. Man, I fucking
Right. Yeah,
charged
of
that
course.
thing up.
Haven't we all? Yeah.
And I went crazy, and then, and then hated every moment that I had to send a payment and to pay that thing.
Right.
And then and at this point in time, I'm, other than mortgages, I'm really debt free.
Beautiful.
It's nice. It's nice to, when you do have to pay a bill, not have to cringe on seeing that bill. Like,
Exactly.
oh, it's a good feeling when you can just
Exactly.
pay that bill. It's something. Yeah, I have to pay my bills. This is something that if you will earned. This bill is sad to say. I earned this $300 light bill because I use the electricity and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you can pay it and be happy. So we're gonna get into that. That's gonna be your homework, Tech C. Tom, your homework for the next show is going to be.
I don't do nudity, so get the thought of nudity out of your mind right now. So
Damn
start
it.
again.
Okay, let me write something new here. Okay. All right, Tom's homework, not nudity. Your homework is going to be, should they legalize prostitution? No, I'm just kidding. No, your homework is going to be lessons in life.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
what are
I like
the
it.
lessons in
Thank you.
life
Thank
that
you.
young people should know?
Oh, that's good. Thank you,
You know
so
what
much.
I mean? That will lead them to a happier
Barely being
life.
out of my 20s, I think I could do something about that.
I think so too.
What's your
And we're
homework?
going to chime in on that.
Yeah, what's your homework?
I'm just
Listen.
hosting the show. That's going to be no. My homework is going to be how to
Aren't
win
you-
friends, how to win friends and influence people. Young people need to know that.
Now,
as
have
well.
you read the book?
How to get
about-
along with people.
Have you done the Dale Carnegie book?
No, I haven't. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
No, but not the one how to win friends and influence
Can you
people.
talk right today?
I've read other versions of the book and things like that, and study things, and then just from my own experience. And then I have a daughter who has a problem with authority. She's not a bad girl. She's actually doing very well in school, but I've had many conversations with her about this, how you have to be able to sort of play the game in life and realize when you want to be a free thinker, but you need to know when to use that
Pick and
free
choose,
thinking
pick and
spirit.
choose, yeah.
Exactly. How to,
Right.
play the game to
How
be successful
How to
in
play
life.
the game of life to win.
The game of life, exactly.
Yep.
So that's what we'll call it, the game of life. I'm gonna talk about that,
Love it.
and then we'll have Vato V not be here because he's not on the show right now, and
He
we
quit
miss him
on us.
today. He did not quit. He's just not here. He won't
He's
be
in the
here
car. I
here
got
with us.
left the air conditioning on. He's in the car waiting. We're going to have coffee after. Tell
He was-
Bottle V hi from Tom.
I definitely will. I'm sure he's listening to the show now. Vato V, if you're listening, Tom says hi. And to all of our Mentalians out there, thank you for joining us today. I know the show is a little bit different. We always love having Tom on. He gets deep, balls deep with a lot of things. He's a very emotional guy. He's very
That's
very
some good
real.
some good emotion on this show.
Tom has cried on it. Tom, you've cried on the show
He
before.
has.
We bring out the
Yeah.
emotion. Tom is a very emotional man, and that's what folks love about you because you're real. You're not scared.
When
to
Delano
show
grabs
who you
that
are.
penis during the show, I tend to cry. I tend to tear up a little
That
bit.
tactic worked, didn't it? It works every time. Just wait till next week. So, folks, that's our show. I'm your host, Delano. Of course, Tom Katzis. Thanks for joining us today. He'll be back, folks. He'll be actually substituting in for Vato V. And even when
Definitely.
we have Vato V come back, Tom is always an honorary guest on the show.
Just so honored to be here.
We,
Thank you.
we
guys.
lost Dr. Williams too. We don't know where he went.
Yeah, Dr. Winsby. Maybe he'll return. He's like a lost dog.
Who's
Maybe
that?
he'll come back. Maybe he won't.
He's,
So.
he's a lost soul.
Yeah.
He's searching for himself right now.
You know Dr. Williams, Christopher Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Plays basketball with you.
He's
Yeah,
not been at the Y lately.
yeah. He's
he been on
actually
a
at
few
home.
times?
traveling.
Yeah, he's at home. To be honest with you, to keep it real, he had a situation he had to handle back home. So he'll be back.
Where's back home?
I don't want people stalking him on the
Okay.
show. So Philadelphia.
Okay.
121 South Juniper Street, apartment 102. No, just joking. But so Dr. Williams will be back with us soon. Vato V, when he can, he'll return. He's had some some things he's had to handle with his job and things like that. And Tech C,
dead-end job.
yeah, his day job. And Tech C, we're never going to lose the guy. You're stuck with him. So, and myself.
When you lose
and
me,
myself.
there's no show.
That's true. It's true. This is the heart and soul of the show.
That's why we didn't have shows last couple of weeks. 'cause
in our
been-
beautiful
lost me.
studio here, absolutely.
Yes, and from our beautiful studio here in sunny Los Angeles, California. And now the host is coming back. Thank you for joining the Mentality Show. We were so happy to have you folks. And, hey, that is our show. Remember, in life, you're good, but with our help, you could be
This your mentality. Be a man, boy, stand up. Get up off your ass, homie, man up. This your mentality. Yeah, we getting balls deep. Conversation over here ain't for the weak. This the mentality. Got the live show when we on the air. It's motivation, elevation when you over here. Just take that negativity and leave it in the rear. DJ Khaled, we the best, it's always screaming here, yeah. We gon' get it in, we ain't gon' never stop. And we had to grind hard for everything we got. A real man ain't gon' never have his hand out. No imitation, innovation while we stand out, yeah. We gon' keep it real, them tough conversations. That's gon' help you reach the top and find your destination. Only way to win in life is good preparation. Sacrifices, dedication, it's a separation, yeah. And you know that. Just believe in yourself, you can do that. All the hate that's around you, just push through that. You gotta change your mentality, you know that. This the mentality. Be a man, boy, stand up. Get up off your ass, homie, man up. This the mentality. Yeah, we getting balls deep. Conversation over here ain't for the weak. This the mentality. 6 p.m. going live, got people tuned in worldwide. This the mentality. We the realest of the realest, and we know everybody gon' feel it. This the mentality show. You know how it go. Real man over here, bro. It's the mentality show. You know how I go. Can't catch an H over here, bro. No. Yeah. Getting to a topic, everybody like, whoa. We get balls deep, but you already know. We ain't sugarcoat nothing, we gon' put it on the floor. If you all up in your feelings, then it's time for you to go. Yeah. Cause we don't do that. We gon' address the issues, and you know that. This a place where you can get it off your chest. Say you're good right now, we try to turn you to the best. Yeah. And we gon' let it ride. This mentality we got, we take it worldwide. And we gon' let it ride. This mentality we got, we take it worldwide. This the mentality. Be a man, boy, stand up. Get up off your ass, homie, man up. This the mentality. Yeah, we getting balls deep. Conversation over here ain't for the weak. This the mentality. 6 p.m. going live, got people tuned in worldwide. This the mentality. We the realest of the realest, and we know everybody gon' feel it. This the mentality. Welcome to the Mentality Show, where it's all about the mentality.